Hey guys, this is Razor Joe. So today I really wanted to address a specific group of people, and that is the lane splitting haters. And the reason I wanted to do this is I was actually just chatting with a friend of mine who's an online friend, and told him I was doing some moto vlogs and whatnot, and he had basically said, "Oh, you're one of those lane splitting assholes." And that's not the first time I heard that from people, that they don't like people splitting lanes. It's so dangerous and you're going to cause an accident, and how bad it is and stuff like that. So this video is really directed to you folks so that I can educate you a little bit. And I've had to do this pretty much with everybody who initially feels that way, and not that it's going to change everybody's mind, but I feel like it does let people see it in a little bit different perspective. There's even people on more than one occasion that I've heard that say, "Oh, every time I see motorcyclists coming up the lane, I want to open my door on them." And my thought to those people specifically is like, really? Shut the hell up. So you're saying you want to cause bodily harm to somebody because they're going up and splitting lanes and going up in between cars. Now, I'm not talking about crazy lane splitting. I'm not talking about white lining on the freeway at 80 miles an hour. Those guys, yeah, those guys are freaking crazy, and they're going to cause an accident and hurt themselves or potentially hurt somebody else. I'm talking about safe and sane lane splitting, where it's between, 10 and 15 miles an hour when the traffic is stopped or moving very slow, moving cautiously in between cars, that type of stuff. Now, the reason that it's beneficial for those of you who aren't aware and just simply hate the lane splitters is that it's safer. It's safer for a motorcycle to be able to choose how they interact with traffic. I need, as a bike, since I don't have a cage around me, I need to be able to choose how I place myself in traffic. Now, for the first part, ideally, one of the things I want to do is keep a cushion of space around me. Now, that's not always possible, but ideally, I want to have no cars to the left of me, no cars to the right of me, no cars right immediately in front or behind me. So one of the best ways to help ensure that I can do that is to get to the front of the line at a stoplight, so I'm the first one off the line, and I can then choose, hey, there's a CHP. I can then at least begin my journey from that light without a lot of cars around me, and then I can dictate and choose which lane I'm going to pick, who passes me, etc. I have a lot better idea what's happening and who's around me. Second part is there's a lot of people out here who aren't paying attention, and they're on their phone or whatever. And one of the best places to get rear-ended is in heavy traffic, that is stop and go traffic. It's a really good place to get rear-ended. And so, speaking of lane splitting, well, the light's green, so I'm not going to do it right now. But people who aren't paying attention and it's stop and go, they're on their phone, they can rear-end a motorcyclist very easily, and it's a lot less likely that I am going to get rear-ended if I'm lane splitting. Another benefit to lane splitting for motorcycles is maybe there's not a lot of traffic. Maybe I just want to get to the front of the line because of the space issue, and in addition, I've been riding near other drivers who simply are either not paying attention or they're just a freaking a-hole who's been riding my butt. Very unsafe drivers. Now, if I'm at a stoplight that's, I don't know, 5 cars deep, 6 cars deep in both lanes, and I can ditch this person, I'm going to want to do that. I'm going to want to go up to the front, so the last couple cars in that line have to deal with that guy. The motorcyclist doesn't have to deal with that guy and not paying attention or driving erratically or whatever. So it enables me to get myself out of a situation that could potentially kill me, versus if I was in a car where it would most likely not kill me, but maybe even still cause an accident. So not that I would wish that on the other drivers, it's just that people who are driving a car are a lot better equipped to handle an impact than I am, than any motorcycle is. So the other thing that I hear a lot of complaints about, and I'm going to address that right now, is, oh, I hate when they rev their engine. It scares the crap out of me. Well, number one, if you saw them coming, you probably wouldn't be scared, which means you're probably not looking in your mirrors. And so I get not necessarily looking in your mirrors all the time when you're just sitting at a stoplight, but it's part of being situationally aware. You really should be glancing in your mirrors to see what's coming up behind you. And the reason that they rev the engine is not to be an asshole. It's so that you know they're there, so you know they're coming. And every now and then I'll do that. I'll give a little rev just to say, hey, I'm here. Even though my motorcycle doesn't get that loud, at least it lets people know, hey, there's somebody coming, and it wakes people up a little bit. So that's one of the reasons that you're going to hear them rev as they're going through traffic. And there may be some reason they thought you were going to move over, or some reason they thought you weren't paying attention, or they're just alerting everyone in the general area, hey, I'm coming up the center. So those are some reasons. Hopefully it can enlighten some of you guys. And people who are in doubt, I just want to let you know, there was a study done by University of Berkeley, California, headed up by Dr. Thomas Rice. And this studied like hundreds and hundreds, like I think 1,000 motorcycle accidents between 2013 and 2014, about mid-year 2013 and 2014. And I have some background music to accompany me here, it sounds like. So the findings were pretty interesting. So I'll give you some of the specifics, and I'll try and put a link to the actual study down below. But the specifics were, it was between like 6 and 10% less likely for people who lane split to have head and torso injuries in the accidents that they studied. And the biggest one to me was the death percentage. So there was a certain percentage of accidents that involved fatalities for motorcyclists in this study, and of those percentages, the ones that involved somebody who was a lane splitter were half that of the ones that were not lane splitting. So it was like a 50% of the percentage of deaths, it was 50% less likely to be involved in a fatal accident if you're lane splitting. So if you want to believe the study, which I have a lot of faith in it, then it's much safer to lane split than not lane split. And the other thing that the study evaluated was some of the things that aren't, hard numbers necessarily, but they're just kind of generalities, and that was that people who lane split are more likely to ride safe, they're more likely to ride the speed limit, they're more likely to wear full face helmet, and more likely to wear all of the gear. I am in full gear, I'm in a safety vest, I'm in a full face helmet, I do lane split, so I right now am meeting that finding from the report. So this is just a shout out to you folks who are really upset with us motorcycles, to kind of let you know there's reasons for it, and unless or until you ride, you may not grasp those reasons. But try not to be so angry. Try to move over for us as we're coming through. Try to look for us, and by all means, definitely do not be of the opinion you should open your door and physically harm somebody because they're getting somewhere. I mean, if you're upset because they're getting ahead in traffic, then go get a motorcycle. That's what you should do. That's what I did. I went and got a motorcycle. Don't hate on them. Fix the problem. Do what they did. Go out, get your course under your belt, and get a bike, and you go between traffic. If you don't want to do that, shut the hell up. You shouldn't be talking about hurting these people who aren't hurting anybody else. Again, this is not applying to the crazy guys who do it at high speeds. So I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of negative comments on this, but I've had this comment enough to where I thought I should probably make a video about it. And I don't know how many people are going to say stuff or watch it, but hopefully you do. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe. And like I said, I'll try and put the link to that report down there. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.